Our relationship after that conversation is strange, to say the least. While it felt meaningful at the time, I realized later that we didn't really get anywhere except once again admit to feelings we'd been having over the past few weeks. Amicus is extra careful about touching me now, probably because he doesn't want me to misconstrue it for something more than it is. At the same time, our conversations have become less casual and joking, more stiff and awkward. I hate it. In any other situation, I'd want to just sit down and talk my feelings out with the person. But Amicus is different. First of all, he's an alien, and having the feelings that I do for an alien, a wolf alien at that, is weird. Secondly, this relationship, this closeness, it's just not important in the grand scheme of things. We're currently doing something so illegal that, if it were to be found out, it could bring the entire empire to a standstill. At least, more than it already is. So instead of playing out one of the cheesy woven romance dramas I've seen on Adastra television, maybe instead I should be focusing on how the hell I'm gonna exist in this empire, especially if the second trial falls through. But Amicus wants a relationship with me. That much he's made clear. I just wonder if it truly would help him like he says it will, or if he's just saying that so I'll give him what he wants. I don't doubt that the wolf likes me, maybe even more than that, but we've only known each other for about a month. Do we really even know anything about each other? Despite all of this, and after a few days of thinking about it, I start to warm up to the idea. We both know it'll be short, an innocent fling like I thought of it earlier. I could be leaving for Earth any time in the next month, but I can't deny that I really like him too. An innocent fling. The more I say it in my head, the better it sounds. Despite everything, knowing that I could have a relationship with an alien, the son of an emperor, actually someone who will likely become the emperor, that's kind of cool. Besides, he did say it would help him with his confidence for the trial. And finally, I'm tired of this awkwardness between us. Amicus is my friend, and I want to be able to talk normally with him again. I'm pretty sure making things official will clear everything up. I just have to go about doing it the right way. The day before the trial, Amicus shoos me and Alex out into the gardens. It's strange, but he tells us that they need to be tended to, considering that the camera drones are going to sweep over the grounds for an opening shot before the second trial begins. It's the first time he's ever really asked me to do a task. And when I point that out to him, he says that he also needs time alone to practice his speech. That makes sense, but it's still a little odd. Alex and I stand in the gardens, picking at the weeds just like I had on my first day at the palace. It's hard to believe a month's gone by, even with the 19-hour days. I guess it's been about 3 weeks in Earth time. I get to work pulling up the small white flowers, the ones that seem to grow in every crevice of the garden. You'd think the drones would be smart enough to take care of the weeds themselves.
Well, they don't have appendages to pull with. All they could really do is use their high-powered lasers, but that risks starting fires.
The drones have lasers?
Oh, yes. They need some sort of defense mechanism.
Huh.
I mean, it's not like they'd ever use it on you. Even if they did, it's not enough to kill you. At least not quickly. Just leaves nasty burns.
I find myself continuing to glance up at an Adastran spider sitting motionlessly on the wall of the palace. Wish they'd use them on those hideous things. It takes Alex a moment to see what I'm looking at.
Oh, Marco, you know those are important for the
ecosystem. Yeah, I know. It doesn't make them any less disgusting. Imagine one of those things biting you.
Indeed. Though, honestly, I've been vaccinated so many times after coming to Adastra that sharp, pointy things don't scare me so much anymore.
We work quietly for a few more minutes. Alex lazily humming as I try to think of a way to bring something up that I've wanted to talk about with the cat. So? I watch as Alex's paws work fast, plucking the weeds with speed and precision. What's your relationship with Cassius like? I see Alex's paws freeze for a moment, then quickly return to their work, the dirty pile of weeds next to him growing larger and larger on the marble floor.
Our relationship? You already know that, Marco. I'm his pet. Just like you are Amicus's pet.
He smiles at me. At this point, I decide to stop letting the cat play his little game with me. I give him a look that says, "Oh, come on." And I see his ears fall a bit.
What?
You know exactly what. I think it's pretty obvious the two of you are, I don't know, something more. This is the first time I've called the cat out on his polite pet facade, and I see that it's thrown him off a bit. His ears are down, and he's staring hard at his paws, pushing through the weeds, though he's no longer plucking them.
That's such a forward question, Marco.
I wonder if his demeanor just has to do with his cat modesty, or if there are actual laws against pet-master relationships. Come on, we're best friends. I mean, we're friends. Besides, I want some advice. Now his ears perk up a little bit.
Oh? With what?
Well, first I want to know if, something's going on between you and Cassius. Then I'll know if you can answer. Alex sighs huffily and sits back on his rear, looking a bit childish with his legs and feet splayed out in front of himself.
I don't know why it matters.
Well, I don't know how things are on Amorpha, but where I'm from, friends talk about their relationships with each other. It's actually strange not to tell your friend about who you're in a relationship with. Those ears are folded down. I can see how red they are.
We're not in an official relationship, but there are feelings between us, yes.
Really? Alex snaps his gaze to mine.
Why do you sound so surprised?
I'm not surprised, just fascinated. I'm not. You two are just really different.
How so?
I mean, do I have to explain it? Alex is quiet. Well, you're so reserved and quiet, and he's so... Now that I know Alex actually likes Cassius, I don't want to be too offensive. Cassius? Alex sighs.
Yes, Cassius is very Cassius, but there's a lot more to him than what he puts out in public.
So, you like him?
Parts of him, yes.
Alex has lowered his voice to the point where I almost can't hear him, so I do the same. So, are you in, a relationship? I don't know what they're called on Adastra. Alex bristles.
Well, it is simply called a relationship. The only official status is marriage, but that's only between males and females.
What about between males?
There is none. Why are you so curious?
Alex looks at me carefully, eyes narrowed. I shrug. Just wondering. I like to learn about the culture I'm in.
I see.
Are you interested in Amicus? Now it's my turn to blush. No. Marco, you can tell me. I thought we were friends. I get the feeling that Alex is a lot better than me at these games. I don't know, honestly, but I guess I was wondering how I'd go about it if I decided to... Ah, that's adorable! All I can do in response is blush a deeper shade of red. So, you're asking how to tell a wolf that you're interested? Yeah. Well, between males, it usually happens naturally, without saying so. If you haven't noticed, there's a stigma against same-sex relationships on Adastra. Leaving the status of a relationship unsaid makes it less likely that you'll be found out. I think for a moment. Amicus seems to want me to make the relationship official. I guess he's just going by my standards then. He probably wants me to ask him to date me, Earth style. Alex goes back to plucking some of the weeds. However, I feel that things are changing, though very slowly. Honestly, someone like Amicus becoming emperor would be really something. I'm about to ask Alex how prominent the rumors are about Amicus when I suddenly hear footsteps. I look up, half expecting to see the wolf, but instead... Kato simply stares at us, his paws behind his back as usual. A moment of silence goes by before Alex suddenly stumbles to his feet, paws clasped in front of himself before bowing low. I quickly follow suit, a few seconds behind the cat. As I bow, I notice how dirty my robe is at the knees. Alex remains bowed, so I do the same, listening as Kato's footsteps come closer. He stops a few feet away, and I can see his worn, blunt claws at the top of my vision. He stands there for a very long time, not saying anything, forcing me and Alex to remain stooped. As my back starts to ache, I realize that he must be doing this on purpose. Are we in trouble for something? Finally, he speaks, and I almost jump. Alexios, Marco, how are you this afternoon? Alex straightens up, and I do the same, stifling my groan of relief. If Alex is sore, he's not showing it at all as he fixes a smile on his face. Wonderful, Your Imperial Majesty. I hope the same is for you. I open my mouth trying to think of something to say, though Alex didn't leave me much room to do so. That doesn't seem to matter, though, as Kato starts speaking, reminding me that I'm still supposed to be a near-mute primitive. Sadly, no, Alexios. I was just in the city today, and I was hearing some unfortunate rumors amongst the officials. Another long pause. Oh! The corner of Kato's mouth twitches, and while I usually have a hard time knowing what the old wolf is thinking, I can tell that right now he's not happy. Indeed. Rumors about Cassius and his intentions involving the triumvirates if he becomes emperor. It takes me a moment to know what they're talking about. Then I remember. The triumvirates. I wonder why. Alex puts on a very innocent, confused look, even though I know that he knows what this is about. I wonder as well, which is why I'm curious to know if either of you have heard the rumor, or possibly the source of the rumor. Immediately, I feel sweat starting to break out on my forehead, and I'm glad that I'm already sweating from the heat. I'm sorry to say that I do not know, Your Imperial Majesty. Another moment of silence goes by, and that's when I notice that Kato's waiting for me to answer. I choke on my words for a moment, adjusting my brain to dumb ape mode. What is triumvirates? Kato's mouth twitches again. Anyway, I'm on my way to Cassius's room to let him know the news. Please accompany me, Alexios.
Yes, Emperor.
Alex quickly hops to attention as Kato turns with a twirl of his robes, heading back up the path as Alex quickly follows. I'm left to stand there alone for a moment, watching the two of them disappear amongst the bushes. So, someone had told some of the officials about Cassius's plan to eliminate the triumvirates. Despite Alex's innocent act, I assume it had to be him. Either that or it was Virginia. I wonder if Kato was already suspicious about Alex, and if that's the case, if it could all come back to me. I hope not. The idea of playing politics amongst these passive-aggressive wolves is not at all appealing. I spend a few more hours weeding the garden on my own, knowing that I won't be able to make much progress alone. After a while, I meander around the gardens a bit, wanting to go back inside, but not really wanting to bother Amicus while he studies. While I'm doing that, though, I think more and more about what Alex and I had been talking about. Should I just confess my feelings to Amicus and close the awkward gap between us? I know it's weighing on his mind. Maybe asking him out will give him the boost that he needs to win. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself, but I realize that it is something that I want to do. And if I'm going to do it, it's probably best to do it before the trial to set his mind at ease. Carefully, I pick a few flowers from the garden, not making the giant bouquet that Amicus had made from it for his own proposal, but enough to look nice, at least in my opinion. As I walk to the wolf's room, I have enough time to second-guess myself. Maybe this isn't such a good idea. My heart is hammering in my chest as I approach the wolf's door, and I'm sure my face is bright red. I try to keep my breathing under control as I stand in front of the door. What should I say? Maybe just imitate what the wolf did back when he asked me out? Yeah, that'll be funny and cute, right? As I start to feel myself getting cold feet, I just reach up to the panel, pressing it, deciding to just throw myself into this. The scene that I come upon is probably the last one I would have ever expected. At first, I think the two of them are fighting. Neferu and Amicus obviously have some kind of tension going on between them, so seeing the jackal splayed out on the bed while Amicus growled and snarled above him, pinning him down. Well, a fight is all that would come to my mind. But after a few more seconds of staring open-mouthed at the scene in front of me, I slowly realized what's actually happening. While Amicus might be snarling, Neferu was letting out grunts and groans that are clearly full of pleasure. His face and body say it all, too. The jackal writhing and twisting under the wolf, pawing at him as he says words that don't translate through the lingua. If that isn't enough to tell me exactly what's going on, then the jackal's slick pink cock bouncing against his tightened dabs is. I guess the sounds they're making covered up the sound of the door opening because neither of them look up. Instead, they both continue to go at it while I stare in shock. A part of me doesn't want to make any sudden movements so as not to attract their attention, while the other part of me just stares in fascination, never having seen anything like this before. A few times, Neferu tries to reach up and touch Amicus's face, and each time the wolf bats it away, or pins the paw down. Amicus seems irritated, almost, like he's more annoyed about the situation than anything else. Neferu is practically the opposite, somehow maintaining that trademark smirk of his while this is all going down. And then, of all the moments for me to walk in on their little session, they seem to reach their peak. Neferu lets out a series of short moans, a strange sound coming from someone as refined and reserved as he is. I can see the results as it splatters against his torso and muzzle, his hips jerking frantically as his face morphs into a look of strained pleasure. Meanwhile, Amicus's moan is long and deep as he thrusts harder into the jackal, freezing up before practically melting over the other canine. His expression is a lot more goofy, and despite myself, I find myself thinking that this is exactly how I'd imagine his orgasm face. I just sort of take this all in, still trying to understand what the hell is going on. I mean, I know what's going on, but I don't know why. There's a certain amount of horror that goes with my reaction, as if I just walked in on my parents doing it. I guess I'm at least glad that I'm seeing it at this angle, which means I can't see what's going on under Neferu's hips. I realize then that I need to get the hell out before they see me. As they both gasp in their sticky mess, I slowly start to back out, but that's when the door automatically closes behind me. Now that things are quiet, nothing covers up that sound, and Neferu and Amicus look up at me as one. I stand there, feeling as if I'm in a dream, as they both stare at me. I must look like an idiot. My robe dirty from the gardens, flowers dangling from my right hand, my mouth hanging open in fascinated horror. Amicus looks most shocked of all, though, and I can see a million thoughts running through his head, clearly not having wanted me to see this. His reasons for sending me and Alex out to do some menial yard work is very clear now. Neferu, for his part, isn't wearing his usual suave smirk. Instead, it's surprised and maybe even a little guilty, like not even he wanted me to see this. I open my mouth. But then any will to smooth over the situation somehow, make a joke of it even, leaves me. With both their eyes on me, I turn and almost run into the door, having to drop the flowers on the ground to press the panel. Somehow, I feel even worse than I had when I left the throne room in disgrace after the dance. The door slides open, and the next thing I know, I'm jogging out into the hall. The door slides open, and the next thing I know, I'm jogging out into the hall. As I do, I hear Amicus struggling for words. Marco, wait! There's some rustling sounds followed by a yelp from Neferu before the door slides shut, and the only sounds are my echoing footsteps. I'm not sure where I'm going. I just know that I need to get as far away as I can from that situation. What I just saw is only now sinking in, and so is the hurt. What the fuck? That fucking wolf tells me he's in love with me. Or at least interested in me, and the next thing I know, he's fucking that jackal? What the fuck? I guess I'm more angry than hurt. I must have looked like such an idiot standing there while one of them was getting railed. And to walk in on that moment. Neferu had been so clearly into it, and Amicus looked so mean and aggressive. The whole thing was just awful. Well, awful to walk in on unexpectedly. In another context, my vision blurs for a moment, but I refuse to let myself cry over something that wasn't even going to be serious. I was going to offer Amicus that stupid fling, and that was it. He wasn't obligated to have eyes only for me. In fact, I knew he was into Neferu. We'd already discussed it. So, this is fine. This was expected. Actually, I wasn't even expecting anything. No, the reason I'm so embarrassed and feel like shit right now is because I walked in on two alien dogs butt fucking. That was weird and messed up, and I just need to collect my thoughts for a moment. That's when I realize I don't really know where I am in the palace. Most of the hallways look the same, and this one is no exception, though I know I'm deeper than I've been before. Marco! Amicus's footsteps pound against the floor behind me. I don't know how far away he is, considering the echoing halls can be deceptive, but I immediately take a right through the particularly large set of double doors. The room I walk into is full of smells. Good ones, like a garden. The air is cool and fresh, even as afternoon light pours in from an opening in the ceiling. All the while, there's the sound of a soft trickling of water from a small fountain in the center of the room. I stand there for a moment, eyes scanning for anyone else that might be here. When I don't see anyone, I move closer to the center of the room, looking around at the flowers and plants as I try to calm my hammering heart. I know Amicus is probably going to find me soon. All he has to do is ask calm. So I fold my arms, trying to look casual, realizing now that it would have just been better for me to hang out in the hall, maybe laugh when Amicus came out. Have made a joke and acted like it wasn't a big deal. But it's way too late for that now. Sure enough, the door slides open and Amicus stumbles in his underwear, his fur completely mussed up, chest heaving for breath. Marco, I need to talk about... He doubles over, paws on his knees as he gasps for his air. I cringe as I see my flowers clutched in one of his paws. But I still try to look casual, keeping my arms folded. What? About what you just saw. Don't worry about it. I shrug before busying myself with brushing off my robes so they don't look so dirty. No, I want to explain what happened. You don't need to explain it. It's none of my business. Well, it is. It's definitely not. I snap at the wolf. Who you fuck is none of my business. That's all up to you. Don't let me tell you who you can and can't be with. Amicus frowns deeply at me. What? You heard me. I don't want to hear about it. I'm not here for this shit anyway. Here for what? For... I throw my hands up in frustration. What just happened? For sex, or love, or whatever the hell it is you guys do. Whatever it is you told me you wanted on the island. I point at the flowers in his paw. I'm just trying to get home. I feel my eyes threatening to water up again, and I stubbornly swallow that down right quick. No! That's not what that was! Please, let me explain! I shake my head. You guys have sex. It's not a big deal. I get it. Humans can be like that too. Amicus takes a step forward, but I take one back. I guess it's just a little fucked up that you confessed your feelings 2 days ago and then suddenly you're just fucking another guy. This is also ridiculous. Not only the situation I'm in, but the fact that I feel so hurt by the wolf. Even though nothing has really happened between us except an alcohol-fueled kiss. Amicus takes another step forward, his paws up, staring wide-eyed at me. That's not what happened. And if you'll let me explain. Then what did I just see? What you saw, it was more of a transaction than anything. What, of cum? Amicus chokes in surprise. Well, yes, I guess. But I made a deal with the Chemian. What deal? Well, I'm sure you remember our problems with Cassius. About him wanting to murder me? Yes, that problem. What about it? Well, I did say it wasn't something you should worry about. But, like I also said, I'm taking all precautions. Yeah? Yes. So? The wolf pauses. What? I realize now that I should have consulted you on this, but it was my only immediate option. What option? Well, while Cassius might be willing to execute my pet, he wouldn't dare touch the pet of a Chemian. What? The wolf rubs behind his neck with one paw and speaks very quickly. If I were to lose the second trial, I made it so that your ownership would transfer to Neferu. You'd become his pet. I stare at the wolf. This would ensure that Cassius would not dare come after you. If he did, it might upset the very delicate relations we have with the Chemians. A moment of silence passes. So I'd become Neferu's pet. If I somehow lose the trial, yes. I stare at the wolf. Are you okay with that? Amicus. Again, with him doing things without even telling me. No conversation. No warning. No consideration. After all this time, he still doesn't see me as an equal. Amicus sees my expression change and quickly jumps in again. It's the best alternative. Mainly because the Chemians likely use their own stretch. Neferu would be able to get you home if he had to. So to pay him... He wanted sex and only seemed interested in that, yes. Trust me, I took no emotional pleasure in it. I'm quiet. Don't worry, though. I made sure the contract we agreed to ensures that you will not have to be involved in anything like that. In fact, you'd almost be treated like a pharaoh. Amicus grins proudly. I stare at the wolf for a while, suddenly feeling numb. Are you feeling better? His voice takes on a serious tone as he reaches out and pushes a thumb pad across my cheek. The action is intimate, and I turn my head away. We stand awkwardly for a moment. Then Amicus holds up the flowers. You dropped these? I shake my head. They were for you. Amicus winces. I thought so. Were you going to ask me? I feel my face getting hot. Yeah. But now... I'm suddenly enveloped in a very tight hug. Gods, that was the absolute worst moment for you to walk in. I'm sorry. I stand there limp, just letting the wolf hug me. Finally, Amicus steps back, holding the slightly wilting flowers as he stares at them. I hope after that, you're still considering? I sigh and shake my head, to which Amicus's ears fall. I'm just a stupid primate to you, aren't I? What? I told you before to just talk to me if you're planning something that involves me. Why couldn't you have at least given me a warning? Especially for something like this. You what? It was sudden, and I thought the idea might hurt you after what happened on the island. No shit. So you went behind my back. I know sometimes you don't. Well, you don't even think, but you knew this would hurt. No! I've been so busy. Not to mention negotiating these things is complicated. I'm just trying to do what's best for you. Without really thinking about me, or how I might feel about any of this. I am always thinking about you. Every damn hour of the day. This is on top of the trials. Believe it or not, Marco, I'm stretched a bit thin, and it would be helpful if you could work with me. Work with you how? Let you manipulate me into becoming your boyfriend, then watch you fuck another guy so I can become his slave instead? I've been pretending, but now it could actually become official. I can't stop the words from spilling out of my mouth, wanting to hurt the wolf just as much as he hurt me. The wolf stares at me. Then Amicus's hackles rise, but instead of instilling any sort of fear in me like it normally would, I feel satisfaction. Marco, I will not have you accusing me of such a thing. I was more honest with you on the island than I have been with anyone in years. But not about what just happened with Neferu. What? You think I owe you celibacy? We're not dating, and you refuse to do anything with me. It may come as a surprise to you, but even in times like these, I have needs. So you did want it. Amicus looks about ready to explode, and for a moment he just stands there in silence, practically shaking. He opens his mouth, and instead of the shouting I expect, it's almost a whisper. I may not know how these things work on Earth, but you know how they work on Adastra. You said yourself that these matters are casual. What happened with the jackal means nothing to me. You mean so much to me, which is why I did it, to keep you safe. I shake my head. While seeing what happened in the bedroom hurt, it's really only the tip of the iceberg with what's wrong with all of this. If you actually cared about me, you'd care about what I want. You keep telling me how smart I am, but here we are again with you doing stuff without any of my input because you think I'm too stupid to understand. No! You know, you wolves are all the same. We're all just stupid barbarians to you. You don't treat me as an equal. You look down on me. Why the fuck would I want to be with someone like that? That is not even. Just win your stupid trial and send me home. If you don't just blast my stupid ape ass off into space, I don't want to be here anymore. I turn, heading for the door. Wait! Please! Whatever he was going to say suddenly cuts off as I hear a loud thud. I don't look back to see what he kicked or punched. Instead, I head out into the hall, not sure at all of where I'm going. I just know that I hate everything about what just happened. For a while, I just wander. I end up pacing the halls of the palace before going outside to sit in the gardens. I don't see anyone. It's weirdly calm outside, especially considering that the Emperor could be decided tomorrow. I wonder how things are in the city, in the rest of the Empire. I look out toward the faint city skyline, glinting gently in the afternoon light. Amicus doesn't come after me. Should he? I'd said such horrible things to him. But even now, I feel like I had to say them. I'm tired of being treated like an actual pet, and now that I might actually become one. Still, I kind of wish he did come after me again. I do believe that he was only trying to protect me, that he thought what he was doing was the only way to do that. But after everything on the beach, after I've already told him to just keep me in the loop. Honestly, if he'd asked me about it first, even just told me about it, I'd probably have been okay with it. Sure, maybe a little jealous, but okay. I realize that a lot of this anger is because I just feel betrayed. And I feel that way because I really, really like Amicus. I'd expect him to treat me better after everything. The late afternoon heat is making me sweat, but instead of going inside, I just move under some shade. After a while, I lay back on the bench I'm sitting on, drifting off to sleep. When I wake up, it takes me a while to realize where I am. I stare at the flowers and leaves, gently lit up by the garden lights, until I remember that I'd fallen asleep there. Groggily, I call out for Calm, and according to him, I've only been out for about 2 hours, but the sun here always moves fast across the sky. I brush a few leaves off my robe as I get up and walk toward the palace, realizing at this point that I can't exactly avoid going back to Amix's room forever. At least it'll force us to talk about things after we've cooled down. At least, I hope he's cooled down. My pace starts to slow as I get closer to his bedroom, unsure what to say after everything that happened. I decide I'm going to apologize, but also expect an apology from him as well. We both made mistakes, but we could get past this if we talked it out. Dinner is still sitting next to the door on its cart, untouched. I pause, my hand hovering over the panel, remembering what I saw the last time I opened the door. Shuddering, I steel myself and press it. The room's empty. No wolf in sight. Cold air creeps out of the room, chilling my bare calves as I continue to stand in the hallway. I realized then that I was holding in my breath and I let it out slowly. I look up and down the hall in case I might see Amicus, but as always, it's empty. With a soft sigh, I slowly walk in toward the bed before changing direction to sit on the sofa instead. Calm had told me that it was the 18th hour, which means Amicus should be getting ready for bed by now, a schedule he follows almost religiously. Maybe he's getting ready for the trial somehow. That would be good, but I'm also getting the uncomfortable feeling that he's just avoiding me. That would be bad, because despite what happened, he shouldn't be thinking about me at all. He could be the Emperor tomorrow. So I sit there, hugging a pillow, waiting. After a while, I grab the food in from the hallway and manage to eat a little bit. I wonder if I should save some for Amicus, but decide that he'd be able to get his own food from the kitchens instead of these cold leftovers if he ends up returning. So I send the rest back with the drones and continue waiting. After a few more hours, Amicus still doesn't come back, and I end up laying down on the sofa, waiting to fall asleep. And that's where I'll end it for this one. Got a whole trial coming up. Definitely not tacking that on the end here. I love the spicy episodes. They're fun. So as always, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I had some fun doing it. And I hope to see you next time. Definitely come next time. It'll be fun. Bye.